Donald Trump's latest strategy of attacking Democrats with false claims about immigration and health care just isn't working, especially during his ongoing government shutdown crisis. For one, he can't effectively communicate his message. His public appearances have become increasingly incoherent, and it's clear that his ability to connect with voters has faded. But more importantly, his claims simply aren't true. The only people taking away Americans' health care are the ultra-wealthy, and Donald Trump himself. So now, instead of focusing on Democrats, Trump has turned his attacks inward, targeting members of his own party. He's been posting increasingly hostile and erratic messages on social media, threatening Republicans who refuse to fall in line. We're going to break down two of those unhinged posts in just a moment. But before we do, if you enjoy the channel and want to support independent coverage like this, please take a second to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps us keep doing this work. Now, before we dive into those explosive posts from Donald Trump, let's look at what's actually fueling this meltdown. The growing chaos inside Congress, which journalist Rachel Maddow recently broke down right here.
Now, to be clear, there is nothing about the government shutdown that requires Congress to be out of session. They're supposed to be in session, but for a fifth straight week, they are calling in sick, canceling class, refusing to convene the House, and, perhaps not incidentally, refusing to swear in the new member of Congress from Arizona, Adelita Grijalva, who won a special election last month, but they won't allow her to be sworn in, and they won't say why, but Democrats will say why they think it is, and it's because she would be the 218th and therefore the deciding vote to force a release of the Epstein files, in which President Trump himself reportedly plays a fairly starring role. Trump's attorney general has reportedly told him his name appears in the Epstein files multiple times. Trump, perhaps unsurprisingly, is refusing to release those files. But once Adelita Grijalva is sworn in, they may no longer legally be able to refuse the release of those files any longer. And so we are now heading into a fifth straight week of Republicans refusing to convene the House of Representatives, a fifth straight week of unplanned vacation. Apparently just to try to protect Trump from whatever is in those Epstein files about him. On day 17 of the government shutdown, government workers and military families are lining up at food pantries all over the country. Trump is apparently excited to have another crack at firing the people involved in keeping our nuclear weapons safe. They're citing the shutdown to go through with an 80% furlough of the National Nuclear Security Administration as of Monday morning. Remember, they accidentally fired all the national nuclear security people right at the beginning of Trump's term in office, and then they said, oops, we didn't mean to do that, and they brought them all back. Well, now they are furloughing all of them. These are the people who keep our nuclear weapons safe from, theft or going off when they shouldn't. Yeah, who needs them? Democrats say their price for relenting on the shutdown is that Republicans need to reverse their changes to health insurance. Their policy changes that are going to spike people's health insurance costs in very short order, almost by almost unbelievable amounts. And I will show you what I mean. States are now starting to release the actual numbers on what the Republicans' policy changes have done to health insurance costs with this legislation that they've passed this year. This is what the Democrats have been making a stink about. You've heard, Democrats are concerned in the shutdown fight about healthcare costs and health insurance, and you think oh, Democrats are always concerned about health costs. That's nice. I care about health costs. I'm glad they're standing up for it. No, it's this specific thing. You want to know what the Democrats are making a stink about with the shutdown? You want to know what the Democratic side is of the fight over the shutdown?
Whether it is his Epstein scandal, Donald Trump's inability to negotiate an end to this government shutdown, or just the general chaos being caused by a Congress that doesn't know what it's doing and has all of its power stolen from it by Donald Trump to just over Americans with tariffs that act as taxes on you, while Donald Trump cuts taxes for the wealthiest Americans in our country's history. Yet things aren't going too well for Donald Trump, and yet he thinks it's the problem of those in his party criticizing him for his awful policies and not the awful policies themselves. Well, of course, Donald Trump is confused, and so he was lashing out tonight in these two posts right here. Third-rate Congressman Thomas Massie, a weak and pathetic rhino from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place I love and won big 6 times, must be thrown out of office ASAP. Trump also wrote, "Whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but he went really bad. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massie, aka Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I won 3 times in a massive landslide. It's a sick wacko who refuses to vote for our great Republican Party, MAGA, or America First. It's really weird." Now, I don't want to overstate the political importance of Senators Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, but it does highlight a serious problem for Donald Trump. This is the same person who's spending tens of billions of American tax dollars overseas in places like Argentina and Israel, while making life harder here at home. He's refused to fund essential services for veterans, presided over a government shutdown, and further destabilized healthcare and Social Security. The very systems that keep our country running. Congresswoman-elect Adalita Grijalva has done critical work in bringing attention to this issue, reminding everyone that these attempts to rewrite the rules of government are a rehearsal for undermining future elections, and she's absolutely right. All of this chaos, from Trump's falling approval ratings to his angry social media outburst, is connected. The cracks are showing. And as journalist Rachel Maddow recently explained, the situation is becoming increasingly difficult for Trump to control.
Remember when it was just Harvard standing up and all the other universities were too intimidated to say no? Well, now even the ones that caved before or that signed deals before with Trump, places like Brown University, even those schools have now learned that maybe signing deals with Trump is not a good idea. Trying to appease him, trying to stay on his good side is folly. It just shows weakness. It invites him to come back and bully you some more. And so in quick succession, we have seen MIT and Brown and Penn and USC and now UVA as well. They've all told the Trump White House, no, we're not doing it. We're not signing on to your little compact to restrict our academic freedom and our ideological freedom of movement in order to try to keep you happy. No, we are not doing it. We have learned our lesson. Forget it. The Pentagon press corps, all the real reporters at the Pentagon, even the ones from Fox News, this week all walked out in unison, telling Trump, no, we're not going to do it either. We're not going to agree to just write down what you tell us instead of doing actual journalism. No, we are not doing it. They walked out in unison, en masse. They told him no. In Chicago, we're seeing spontaneous protests in every city, neighborhood, and in every suburb against Trump's apparently untrained, totally out of their depth paramilitary dress-up immigration agents who, among other things, are now regularly tear-gassing Chicago police officers. A federal judge has now ordered Trump's federal agents from the bench, quote, "You can't deploy tear gas. You can't use flashbang grenades. You can't drive a car through a crowd. You can't shoot them in the head with pepper balls." The judge has ordered that Trump's federal agents in Chicago must not only change their ridiculous tactics, they must now wear body cameras, and they must have them turned on. A different federal judge had ruled that the National Guard cannot be deployed to Illinois. That ruling has now been upheld by a unanimous 3-judge panel of a federal appeals court.
Donald Trump continues to lose. Everywhere. In the court of public opinion and in actual courts across the country, he is facing defeat after defeat. He's lost the vast majority of his legal battles and continues to struggle under the weight of his own record. He is not inevitable. He is not unbeatable. And together, we can make sure he is held accountable. We're going to keep calling out the truth every single day on this show. If you want to support that, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video. It really helps us grow. If you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments to show your support. And until next time, I will see you soon.